Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another show. The show is Get Rid of Your Old BS, and the BS is your old limiting belief systems. I'm so glad you're joining me today. I have a special guest, Miss Brenda Warren, who is a colleague of mine, and I'll allow her to introduce herself to you. Brenda, how are you?
I'm fine, Eugenia. Thank you for having me on this show. I'm excited to be here with you.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. Brenda, you have many, many talents, and you have helped me become an Amazon bestseller. Talk to us quickly before we dive into the overall topic, but talk to us a little bit about what you do and maybe how you can help our audience before we get started.
Yeah, well, I'm known as the solutionist because I see things other people often miss. I help women over 40 in transition take the braces off their brains so they can live their best life now. And I help veterans, entrepreneurs, and authors turn their mess or their mission into a message for the masses.
Oh,
That's how I was able to help you become a best-selling author.
yeah, that is it's no easy feat, I will tell you guys out here because I as I like to say, ran blindly butt naked through the night in the woods trying to do an ebook and was not prepared, and Brenda was beyond helpful. So she certainly knows what she's talking about. So if you're interested in getting an ebook written, Brenda is the woman to go to. So Brenda, today we're here to talk about why people struggle with problems, why people find it difficult to deal with whatever they're dealing with. It could be a divorce, a death in the family, a job loss, why they think the way they think. And so on in that vein, I will say, tell us, we'll start right out of the gate.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about, maybe in general or specifically, some of the things that you have gone through in your life. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, there's so many things, Eugene. As a retired Marine with 20 years of active service, a mother of one, a woman that has been married and divorced three times, an entrepreneur, and someone that spent 8 years of their life sitting on the couch in shame and guilt. I call it schmilt. After my diagnosis with post-traumatic stress disorder and military sexual trauma, I've had a lot of things to overcome. So that's why I developed my TAPIN method. And TAPIN is a 5-step strategic plan I use to get myself off the couch and be able to live my best life now.
Yeah. Tell us, tell us maybe how you helped yourself from your divorces. We all go through relationship
Mhm.
problems,
Mhm.
but I think we find there are those men and women that don't transition well. And even though you've
No.
been married three times and maybe you're practicing and maybe you didn't find
No, that wasn't the plan.
right, you didn't find the right man. Tell us a little bit of how you navigated those waters each time and picked yourself up to continue to move forward.
Well, the first thing is, Eugene, I grew up just always wanting to be loved. So I would say I chased love in all the wrong places.
Mhm.
And it wasn't until the ending of my third marriage, which was 23 years of marriage, that I really had to take a deep dive and figure out, what am I doing wrong? Why aren't these things lasting? It's not that I couldn't get into a relationship. Three different very amazing men married me. But the circumstances for each divorce was different. The first one was, if you're gay, that's not going to work. He was gay and he only married me to protect his standing in the military. So that was a 3-year run that was not pleasant. Couldn't do much about that. The second one, I married my absolute best friend in the whole wide world, but our military deployments kept us apart. And he wanted me to leave the military, and I had to make a decision. It was choose either the love of my life or to leave the military. And at that time, my self esteem was so low. And also the fear of abandonment and rejection was so real. I really didn't see that he was serious. And I chose to stay in the military believing that we'd work it out, but he was serious and he left. And then after 23 years of marriage, um, when I realized that although I loved my husband, he didn't know how to love me. And
Hmm.
since I wasn't loving myself, it wasn't sustainable past that aha moment of, oh, baby, it's time to roll.
Hmm.
So I left. Um, and during that time when I left, I've had 3 years since, almost four now, since my divorce. And I've spent that time taking a deep dive. And it all happened right at the same time that I started tapping in myself, tapping in to live my best life by first doing each letter stands for a different part of the process. The T is about transformation. That's where you transform your mindset. There
Hmm.
was only one common denominator in my divorces, Eugene, and you're looking at him. That was me. It was about my low self-esteem, my fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, and my unwillingness to deal with my post-traumatic stress and military sexual trauma diagnosis and all the other things that were traumatic and baggage in my life.
So let's pause right there, and then we'll come right back to that. How do you, how did you specifically develop low self-esteem? Is that going back to when you were a child? Tell us.
Oh yeah, from it started from being a little girl that in a family of women with beautiful long hair and light skin because my uncles married interracially.
Mhm.
So I was considered the ugly duckling
Hmm.
of the girls. I was made to feel very ugly and not worthy from a very young age. I was too skinny. I was very tall and lanky. If there's a picture of all the women in my family, it's about 20 women, and it's a joke. It's like if you look at the picture, you go ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, and everybody said, "Who's that little girl right there? The little flat chested one?" Well, that's Brenda. She took off her daddy's side of the family, so I didn't have the curves, the hips, the all the things all the women in the family have. So I've always felt and was treated as if I was less than everybody else. And you take that through your life. It also didn't help that I was being molested from the age of 5 to 13 and being told God didn't love me and nobody else loved me, and all the lies that predators tell a young kid. So it was baked into me very early that I was not enough.
That is that is crazy for one. That's sad for two, and it's a very impactful beginning.
Yes, it
You
is.
believed a certain narrative, and then on top of that, you were abused and
Mm-hmm.
and physically and then psychologically abused
Mm-hmm.
to where you grew up believing a certain thing. How long did it take you to work yourself out of that? And whether that was just here recently, if that's what it was, and why do you think it took so long?
It took that long because although I thought I had worked through it. The truth is, I was masking and really suppressing my own internal feelings. You see, from a young girl, I was groomed that my only purpose in life was to serve a man. I grew up in a church environment where women were seen as just servants of men. So I was raised to believe that my only purpose was to grow up, get married, and serve a man. I didn't have a right to my own body. So I never said no to sex because I thought I was supposed to do that. So literally, I did not know I could say no, and that no is a complete sentence. And let me be clear on this. I now know no is a complete sentence, but I didn't know that until well into my 50s, and I'm 60 now. Because again, it was about how I was raised, what I believed, and the things I was taught in the church.
Okay. Now, what has transformed you into believing? Is it something you've read? Is it something you've listened to, something you've watched? Why are you transforming now? Because people who are listening,
Mhm.
there are women and men who are in your shoes
Yeah.
still. How do you, is it a self-talk? What has helped you get out of this mindset?
Again, tapping in and a lot of self-talk. And also, I spent my whole life in church, Eugene, but I didn't have a relationship with Christ, not a personal one. I listened to what the preacher said and what was taught to me. I'd even have written my Bible through several times, backwards and forwards, have been extensive in ministry without having a relationship.
Mhm.
And then when I got to my end of myself, and I mean, I went past the Burger King gospel, I'm going to have it my way and do it my way, even though I know what the word says. And I really had an encounter with God, a real one,
Mhm.
where I felt like I could hear his voice for me for the first time. And I began to read my Bible that way.
Mhm.
That was a game changer for me. And only way I could describe it is like it was being downloaded. I've always been intuitive. I'm empathic, so I could always feel other people's pains. That I was told I had a discerning spirit,
Mhm.
but I didn't understand the power of that or how to really use it for self. I used it for a lot of good for other people, but never turned it inward. But when I got the revelation that I could tap into my own life and really live my best life, no opportunity wasted, baby, that was like game on.
Right. So you developed an inner belief through your personal relationship with God. Something has
Absolutely.
changed. So going further into the tap-in method,
Mhm.
maybe before we get there, talk a little bit about maybe what if someone doesn't believe? Maybe how could they, maybe using some of your tools with the tap-in method, how can they make the change?
And that's the same thing I say. It doesn't matter if you believe in Buddha, God, a head of lettuce, because the purpose of the tapping is to go inward. We are amazing creatures, humans are, and we all have the ability to self correct, to even self heal. And there comes a point when your self talk gets to a place that you begin to really believe what you're saying. Because here's the thing: we believe what we've been telling ourselves our whole life. When I was telling myself that I was stupid, that I didn't matter, that I was ugly, that no one could ever love me, that was the truth because that's what I believed. But when I changed what I was telling myself, I have this thing I call Tell Yourself Tuesday, where I encourage people to tell themselves something positive, tell themselves something good. I literally, Eugene, began to stand in a full length mirror and look at myself and say, Brenda, you're beautiful. See, I
Mhm.
never felt that, so I didn't believe that. And when I began to, what I say, I call it the behavior of belief. When I began to believe I was beautiful, I began to present as beautiful. When I began to believe I was worthy, just like I am, flaws and all, I began to feel worthy because what you believe will dictate your actions, and your actions will dictate your results.
Yes, and how you think
How you
is
think
tied to
matters.
belief.
And it all starts with what you tell yourself.
Mhm. Yes, I can't say enough about how you think and what you believe. There's a saying or a phrase that says thoughts are things. Thoughts
Absolute
are
thoughts are
things.
truly things.
And they'll talk about, think and grow rich, or as a person or a man thinketh, so is he.
Mm-hmm.
You become what you think about. Guys, the lessons that she is talking about, uh, they're incredibly valuable. It will transform your life, and I know that it has transformed my life. And I won't go into my story, but how I have always thought has governed how I believe, and it led to the outcomes that I currently am thankful to have received. So thinking, believing, receiving, these things work hand in hand. Um, so you're 60, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were younger than I was the other day when I met you, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You have a new life, a new sort of flow, a new sort of feel. What would you tell what would you tell someone maybe who's thinking about making these changes? I know you touched on it a little bit. What would you tell the battered woman, or the person that has been sexually abused as you have been? What would you tell them the feeling is now, the difference of how you used to think and how you currently think, how freeing it is? Talk a little bit more about the change.
Well, the change comes with, again, it starts with your mindset. The first thing I had to do was believe that I was worthy and
Mhm.
believe that regardless of my past, that my past did not dictate my future. And then I had to uh take ownership of my words. What was I
Mhm.
saying about myself? Like, just like for the weight, I lost 65 pounds. And before, because I can't lose this weight, it's so hard. I kept saying that. And then I began to say I'm fit, fierce, and fabulous. And I said that by my 60th birthday, I wasn't going to have all this weight on me. And by my 60th birthday, I didn't, because my words then became to my action. Because when you're fit, fierce, and fabulous, you're not sitting up here on the couch drinking Diet Pepsis and eating Doritos like I was doing before. I changed my eating because, again, my behavior aligned with my beliefs.
Mhm.
And the same thing about the fear of abandonment and rejection. I was preparing myself and didn't even realize it in the beginning to be healthy and whole so that I could have an interdependent relationship and not a codependent relationship. So I know that when I find that right man this time, he will meet a different Brenda than the other three gentlemen encountered. He meets someone that is whole, nothing missing, nothing broken, that has made the definite decision to say that I am a love of a lifetime and I'm worth a love of a lifetime. See, I didn't believe that before because I thought that because of the sexual abuse in my past and all the things that I had been through, that I didn't deserve that kind of love.
Mhm.
But I see I'm in a place now where I've done the work, I've been in counseling. I feel like I'm in a place that I can love like there's no heartbreak and not hold somebody else hostage for the things that were done to me in my past. And that right there requires a definite decision.
Mhm.
And then I had to prepare myself for that decision by making sure that I went to counseling, that I constantly watch my words. Because, see, like, I'm human. There are days I can find myself slipping back, going, man, you could do that better, or you could look this way. Look, I'm thinking, I see a lot of women every day, Eugene. I see them in the Zoom and when I go out places, and I'm always tickled when someone will tell me, baby, when you get to be my age, and I ask how old they are, and they'll say they're 50 or they're 55. And I'm like, well, baby, I'm 60. So how you like me now? It's a whole nother feeling.
Mhm.
And it's also about what I said before I step out my house. Every time I do this, and I've been doing this for the past year. It is saying, when my girlfriend told me, I radiate divine love of Christ. And what I notice is that when I do that, the way people receive me is different from before, when I hated the world, because I literally did. I saw all men as predators,
Mhm.
and when I interacted, it was evident. Now I'm looking for the good in people and I'm looking to express the good in me. But
Okay.
that was a definite decision to do that.
Yeah, and so you spoke a lot about we've talked about the way you think, the way you believe. You've been talking a lot about decision making, deciding that you were going to do certain actions, the way that you talk to yourself. So if someone is in a place where some of these thought processes are not in place, how
Mhm.
can they get some help? You go by the Soulutionist. You
Mhm.
help men and women with a journey to a better, more empowering life. Talk a little bit about kind of what you do in the community and what you're doing for people and what your business is.
Okay. Well, when it comes to, depending on if I'm working with them with self-publishing or if I'm doing group or one-on-one coaching. If it's self-publishing, it's all about helping them tell their story, to get out the story that they want for themselves, or helping them tell the story of their business, whichever one it is. That's what I will focus on with them. So the self-publishing stuff is just helping people that don't want to go the traditional route of publishing, show them how they can do it and then do it again themselves. So I'll help them the first time, and I've helped some people several times. But if they choose to become a self-publisher and be self-sufficient, that's what my focus is, to let people know that it is possible. Because we're in a good place right now, Eugene, that on-demand print businesses like KDP and Amazon, the Kindle Direct Publishing, and Ingram Sparks, and all the others, Lulu, and many more, have made it so easy for people to publish their own books. But I always say research, edit, and edit again. Because remember, you only get to make one first impression, and you want to make it a fabulous one. But when it comes to mindset, that's where TAPIN comes in. That's the biggest part of it, because I really believe, as a man thinking, so is he. When a woman or man finds themselves in an abusive situation and they say to themselves, I can't see no way out, they never will. I first have to help them shift their thinking to a place where they can believe that it's even possible. And we do that after we talk about the mindset. We announce what it is, the outcome that we desire, and we get some accountability. And then we go into the preparation phase where you're doing the things that's going to help you get the outcome you desire. Then we get into my absolute favorite phase, which is the imagines phase. This is where you visualize the life you want to live, not the life you have. Because I always say I help people close the gap between the reality and their desires.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and most of us live in that gap. We desire to lose weight, but we're telling ourselves we can't, so you won't. We desire to have a love of a lifetime, but you're saying nobody loves me. Well, you don't even love yourself. So we have to work in that gap to get you headed in the direction to the outcome that you say you want to have.
Okay, that is amazing. I just wanted to make sure we let the audience know that. Now, how can they at least consume some of your content or get in touch with you, or maybe decide that they want to work with you? Where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at Brenda the Solutionist. I'm also in LinkedIn, YouTube as Brenda the Solutionist. If you go to my Instagram page, there's a link in the bio where you can click on and join me in one of my groups in the Convene communities. There's a direct link to the Life community where I hold my group coaching. If you want to self-publish, there's a link directly to that. Or you can go to my website, brendathesolutionist.com. Give me your email and then we can connect.
Yeah, that is fantastic. And we'll put that information in the description box in this video. Soulutionist is spelled a little different, like you got a little soul.
Yeah, it's Soulutionist. It's Soulutionist. And the thing about it, Eugene, the reality is I'm booked. So it takes a lot unless you come into one of my group programs right now, but my one-on-one clients, that's by appointment only. And you have to do some things before I'll agree to work with people. Because I only work with people that take action and are implementers.
Yeah, yeah. And so that's a good thing to know. Anything you want to leave the audience with as it relates to belief systems, just doing better in life? Anything you want to share that you want to leave them with?
I would say what I always share with people is that, you can tap in and live the life you desire. And it is my desire to help as many people as possible tap in, Eugene, and live their best life now. And now means no opportunity wasted, because I truly believe life is choice driven. The choices that you make today will be the reality you live tomorrow. So choose wisely.
Amen. Brenda, thank you so much for joining me today on our show. You guys stay tuned for some special offers after we're done. This has been Get Rid of Your Old BS, and I'll see you next time.